So tonight, the class is dedicated in honor of the shalom of Rav David ben Rav Halevi, and the theme of the class, I think, is very in sync with Rav David. As Danny once told me, Rav David said about different choices he made in life, which seems to have put him back a couple of steps financially, and he said he made these choices, and I could sleep well at night. So the theme I want to discuss tonight is the idea of peace. Yankel and Shmerel were best of friends. Yankel always got into fights, and Shmerel, whenever Yankel got into a fight, Shmerel was always able to calm Yankel down. Yankel got into a fight, and Shmerel would talk to him until Yankel calmed down. One time, Yankel gets into this fight. He's screaming, he's yelling, he's angry. He punches someone, and Shmerel again is successful, and he gets Yankel to calm down. Yankel, amazingly, he calms down, and someone goes over to Shmerel and says, "Shmerel, what's your secret? How do you always get Yankel to calm down?" So Shmerel says, "I am Yankel's best friend. I'm devoted to Yankel, heart and soul. Whenever Yankel gets into a fight, it's my privilege to help Yankel make peace with whoever it is. There's only one person I cannot get Yankel to make peace with. Who's that? Yankel himself. Yankel is making peace with everybody. I can get him to make peace with anyone except for himself." I saw a letter of the Rebbe today. Amazing letter. It's a letter where the Rebbe openly displays divine inspiration. A lot of times you meet people where they say to you, "I'm going to keep Shabbat, I'm going to keep kosher, as long as you show me a miracle. Show me a miracle, and then I'll keep Shabbat, then I'll keep kosher." So the Rebbe answers this person like this. You write about this friend of yours from Bulgaria who says this. So first of all, tell him to look back into his life, into events of his life, and he'll discover that many miraculous events did occur to him. We'll see that miracles did happen to him. And the truth is that asking that a miracle again should happen is also asking that he should be in a situation that he should be in discomfort, be in a state of fear, and then get rescued. So why would a person want to be in that? Why would a person want to go through that again? Especially he's already seen that movie before. Why would he want to have that happen to him again? If he wants to reinforce his faith by seeing a miracle, does he really want that to happen if he's seen that already? Then they're bad since lying. You should also tell him, you should think back into the fact that there's someone who has never seen him, who is telling him that he's had a situation in his life where his life was in danger, and God rescued him, and this person is telling this to him, and he's never seen him before. In other words, Rebbe is alluding to himself. Like, I'm telling this to you, and how do I know this? This itself should be the information necessary that you should. This notification should inspire you that you should begin immediately getting this letter, getting this information to keep Shabbat and keep kosher. Okay, so, but question is, how do we stop and breathe and get in and get centered and make peace with the situation Hashem has placed us in when it may not be the one that we like? So let's look from the perspective of this week's Torah portion. We're reading this week's Torah portion about Pinchas. The daughters of Moab seduced the Jewish people to do idolatry, and then the Torah says that the leader of the tribe of Shimon openly defies the commandment of Hashem, and Zimri ben Solu takes a woman whose name was Cosbi Bastur. Midian had 5 kings, the most 5 princes. Most prominent was Tzur, and Zimri, in front of the whole Jewish people, he pitches his tent with her, and Pinchas stands up for God's honor, and he kills Zimri and he kills Cosbi, and then a voice comes out from heaven. The voice says, "Because of what you've done, Pinchas, God says, I'm going to give you the gift of peace. You're going to have peace." Now it seems the exact opposite of what Pinchas was doing. Pinchas, he did the exact opposite of peace. He went to kill Zimri. And yet the blessing that he received was the blessing of peace. How does that make any sense? What does that have to do with what Pinchas did, the blessing of peace? Hold on. Another thing is, the whole tribe of Shimon were all rooting for their leader, Zimri, to do this. And this Zimri wasn't just a slouch. Zimri's name was Shmuel ben Tzuri Shaddai, who we talk about every year on the beginning of the month of Nisan. We read in the Torah the sacrifice he brought to Hashem with divine inspiration. He had divine inspiration, and we make a prayer about his sacrifice every year. So what's going on exactly? How does he make this grave mistake? And how does his whole tribe sit there and say, yeah, go for it, you should do this? What's going on? So look at this medrash. I'm not going to learn the whole medrash tonight, just one piece of the medrash. Medrash says like this: when God created the world, the angel of truth and the angel of kindness came before Hashem, and Hashem was, so to speak, consulting them about creating the world. And Chesed said, create man. Why should you create man? Create the world, create man. Why? Because man will do kindness. That's what kindness' opinion was. How about truth? What did truth say about man? Truth said, no way. Man is full of lies. No way. Then there was two others. There was justice, and there was righteousness and peace. Righteousness said, yeah, man does righteousness. And peace says, no way, man is full of argument. So which one is it? Is man kindness? So obviously some people do goodness and kindness. Some people don't. But if you look at the words of the Talmud, it's funny. It says, man does kindness, according to kindness. And according to shalom says, don't create man, because man is full of argument. He's completely 100% argument. 1 second. How can you say he's full of argument? There are people who argue. Not everyone here is full of argument. You argue with everyone. I mean, it doesn't make sense to say all man is full of argument. We do kindness. We do. But to say we're full of argument, what does this mean? So that's just like this. The whole point of creation, the reason Hashem made the world, because Hashem wants us to make a home for Him in this world. How do we make a home for Him in this world? We just did something. We're eating. We're saying a bracha. We're together. You're Hakel. We're doing Torah together. We're bringing the light of Hashem to the world. You see a person who needs to hear a compliment, needs to hear a good word, a kind word. You give them a kind word because Hashem wants you to say a kind word. You are revealing godliness in the world. When you go out of your way and you forgive someone who's stepping your toes, you are revealing Hashem in the world. You're bringing about a revelation. You're making a connection between this world and the higher world. You're making a home for Hashem in this world. You're letting Hashem's light spread in this world. That's the whole point of creation. It says in the Torah, Jewish people are called one nation on the earth. The simple meaning of this is that we're a unique nation, we're different. But it also means, as Alter Rebbe says, our role is to bring the oneness of Hashem in the world. That's our role. Goy Echad Ba'aretz means our role is to reveal the oneness of Hashem in this world. That's what Maimonides means when he says the whole Torah is meant to make peace in the world. What's the meaning of making peace? To connect the world naturally. We feel the first reality that we have is reality of Popeye. What did Popeye say?
I am what I am.
I am what I am. That's all I am. That's our first reality. And so by overcoming this and making a Kiddush Hashem and sanctifying Hashem's name and giving up things that aren't are petty for the sake of peace and making Kiddush Hashem, we do something. We reveal Hashem's truth in the world. We make peace between Hashem and His world. We go against the grain of creation, which is to the word world in Hebrew means concealment. Instead of it being concealment, the opposite. Rabbi Rubashkin, when he was in prison, he said that in one of the rooms in the prison, there was a place where everyone can go read, the library of the prison. And he goes into the prison and he has his bag, and in the bag, the guard at the entrance of the library, he looks in his bag and he sees he has a book of Psalms. He says, no, Rubashkin, there's a room, the chapel is for prayer, it's just for reading. You cannot do any religious things in the library. This is just for reading, for relaxing. It's not for prayer. Okay, no problem. Anyways, he lets him in, and he sees he's praying in the library. How dare he do this? We had a deal. What's going on? What are you doing? So Rabashkin says, let me explain to you something. By us, we don't have anything which is just stam. You don't have anything which is just not religious, empty. We get up in the morning, we say Meda'ani. We have lunch, we say a bracha. We go to sleep, we say Shema. There's no such thing as just plain. Everything we do is it connected to Hashem. No such thing as just empty. There isn't. And he said it with sincerity, and he reached, and the guy accepted it. That's really the truth of who we are. That we are the people which are called, Hashem calls us shulamis. The name of the Jewish people is shulamis. Why are we called shulamis? Hashem says, because you make peace between me and the world. So our role is to go against the grain of our natural reality, to feel ourselves and our ego, and instead to be moed al ha'emes, to feel the truth of Hashem's purpose in creation. Esther, when she was taken to Achashverosh, famously, she was taken through the church of Achashverosh. When she walked into the church of Achashverosh, the church with all the idols, all of a sudden she lost her divine inspiration. And she said, my God, lo ma'azavtani, why have you left me? The deeper meaning of that sentence is, she said, God, my God, for what reason have you left me? I know I don't feel right now where I'm supposed to be. I feel like I'm lost. I feel like I'm missing everything. There must be a purpose here. Today, Baruch Hashem, I lost my tefillin. And so don't worry, it's part of the plan. It's part of the plan. I haven't found it yet. But it's my question is, when I'm thinking the right way, is there must be a purpose over here. Why did I lose this connection? Or, I mean, figuratively also, not just about missing a pair of tefillin, but think about it, like when you have some situation in your life, you lose tefillin, the connection, you don't feel the connection with Hashem, there's a reason why that happens. So, it's like in music, everyone could feel do, re, mi, fa, sol, right? You could feel you're a do, you're a re, you're a mi, you're one of those notes. But the truth is that we're part of a symphony. Even now we hear July 4th, it sounds like, someone said it sounds like Janin, right? It sounds crazy. But the truth is that there is a symphony going on. That this is Hashem's symphony, and it's all going towards one purpose, coming of Mashiach. Even though it doesn't sound like that there's any, it sounds in our life, all kinds of noise, all kinds of confusion. But the emes is, the truth is that we're all part of the symphony, and exactly where Hashem has placed us, and the circumstances we have placed us, and the challenges that we have, that we will love to switch for someone else's challenges, it seems, but specifically in the scenario that Hashem has placed us in, that's where our role is. And that's why the Talmud says, Shulchan Aruch says, Code of Jewish Law says, there's one Torah portion which contains the entire Judaism. One line in Judaism which contains the whole Judaism. Which line is that? B'chol derchecha ve'eyu. In all your ways you should know Hashem. In all your ways, because the purpose of why your souls in this world is to make a home for Hashem exactly where you are, in the situation that you're in. Because Mashiach is about the light of Hashem being in the physical world. And therefore, you're sent to certain places, even though it doesn't seem like they have any purpose. It seems like random, but it's not random. And that's the meaning of Pinchas's sacrifice. Pinchas, Hashem did many miracles for Pinchas to be able to do what he did. And when he did what he did, what did he accomplish? He accomplished that the plague stopped, and he caused, in the place of a lie, in the place of darkness, in the place where there was an act being done against the will of Hashem, Pinchas brought into that place also the truth of Hashem. Even in a place which was completely the opposite of the truth of Hashem, Pinchas brought Hashem's truth to that place as well. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not done yet. We're getting there soon. Hold on.
Sorry.
Buddy. Before we continue, let's say l'chaim from the Shamar of David, the David men Rafal, Chaim l'chaim Rafal.
Also, we have here Rabbi Begun. Tonight is also the shloshim of Benjamin Siegel. Rabbi Begun knew him 37 years ago, and he actually traveled with our father to Eretz Yisrael.
L'chaim Rafal.
Where's the l'chaim?
Go for it. Okay.
Don't worry.
So it says about Pinchas is Eliyahu. Pinchas Eliyahu. One explanation of this is that Pinchas lived a long time. He lived until the time of Eliyahu. But it also means that what Pinchas did is the same neshama as Eliyahu, same Gilgul, same in reincarnation, and every one of us also has a spark of Eliyahu Navi in us as well. Rebbe Chana once visited Reb Levi Yitzchak, Rebbe's father. I was before Shabbos, and he was sent by the Soviet government in exile to a very far off place, to Alma-Ata, and was a state of poverty. And all of a sudden, when she arrives, she couldn't believe it. She sees that there's a kugel, there's chol, I don't know the exact details, but it was like set for Shabbos. She couldn't believe it. So she asked her saintly husband, "How did this happen?" And he said, "Elijah the prophet took care of it." Wow. So she's like, "Okay, of course, like Elijah the prophet. Why not?"
Knows about
She knows that her husband is a tzaddik, but later on, her husband pointed out another chassid, and he said, "There's Eliyahu Navi." So it sounds just like a play on words, but I heard from Dr. Silman said an amazing thing. He said, the Maharal says that when you have inspiration to do something, you have just in your mind, something comes to you, I should do this. That's a spark of Eliyahu Navi. There's something in you from Eliyahu Navi which is motivating to do this thing, which seems like so random, but it's actually something in you from Eliyahu Navi that's bringing you there. So in that context, let's take away the mask from this week's Torah portion. Let's look at this from the perspective of the Arizal. A whole deeper story emerges. Arizal says like this. Arizal says in Gemara that Cosby, this princess, she actually was meant to marry Zimri from the first days of creation. Except for, he married her too early. Pag Yeshvias means something which is a fruit which is not yet ready. It was too early. What's going on? So the Arizal says that when Shechem abducted Yaakov's daughter Dinah, wanted to marry Dinah, so that was of course forbidden, and Yaakov's children, Shimon and Levi, destroyed the whole city of Shechem. But the Arizal says that everything that happens in the world eventually needs to be rectified. Who rectified the sin of Shechem and Dinah? Well, so the Arizal said that Zimri was a Gilgul of Shechem, and Cosby was a Gilgul of Dinah, and he wanted to rectify the inappropriate connection they had in the previous reincarnation through them being married now. And that's what the Zimri said to Moshe. He said to Moshe, "Is this person permissible or is this person forbidden?" He pointed to Cosby. He says, "You, Moshe, how did you marry your wife Sipporah? Is this permissible or is this one forbidden?" Why do you point or say this one? What do you mean? So Rizal says, Moshe Rabbeinu was a Gilgul, was reincarnation of Hevel, of Abel. And in the previous incarnation, when Cain and Hevel were born, it says that Cain was born with a twin girl.
Cain was Korach.
And Hevel was born with two twin girls. And so Cain, they had three arguments, Cain and Hevel. One of them was, Cain said, I should get to have the other girl. There's two girls born with you, one girl was born with me. I should marry. Why do you get two and I get one? I should get two wives, you get one wife. So Hevel said, what are you talking about? First of all, she was born with me, and before they give me the Torah, you're allowed to marry your sister. And second of all, but Cain says, no, I'm the firstborn. The firstborn has a double portion, and therefore I should marry her. So Cain and Hevel fought, and Cain killed Hevel. So Moshe Rabbeinu, Yisro was a reincarnation of Cain. That's why one of the names of Yisro was Caini. And Hevel was reincarnated as Moshe Rabbeinu. So Moshe Rabbeinu was told by Hashem to marry the daughter of Yisro. The good part of Cain was in Yisro. And Moshe Rabbeinu had to marry Tzipporah, Yisro's daughter, in order to rectify the fact that he lost, that since Cain killed Hevel, and Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't, in the previous incarnation, Hevel wasn't able to be with his other sister, therefore he was reincarnated in Moshe Rabbeinu in order to marry Tzipporah. Wow. So therefore comes Zimri, and Zimri says to Moshe, okay, I know why you did what you did, so let me tell you what I want to do. Since in the previous incarnation I was Shechem, and since in the previous incarnation she was Dinah, so therefore the same thing should happen. So it says that Moshe Rabbeinu ignored what they said. His daughter Metelim, it's insignificant, doesn't make any sense. Why? Because the Torah was given. And the Torah has rules. And therefore you can't just decide how you want to rectify things in the opposite. Instead of rectifying things, it was a mistake. But who finally did rectify the connection of Shechem and Dinah, their relationship? Who rectified it? So Gemara says that in the time of Rabbi Akiva, there was a Roman representative in Yehuda who, in time of the revolt of Bar Kokhba, and he was friendly with Rabbi Akiva, and ever him and Rabbi Akiva would talk, whenever they would talk, Rabbi Akiva would totally mop the floor with him. Him and Rabbi Akiva would talk, he would ask him all his brilliant questions, Rabbi Akiva would answer and literally mop the floor with the guy. So he came home one night, and his wife sees he's all upset at life. She says, "What happened to you?" He said, "I spoke to this guy, Rabbi Akiva, again, and he showed me how foolish I am." So she said, I will show him how foolish he is. How you do that? I'm going to seduce him to sin. Him, this venerable sage, I'm going to seduce Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva at the time was 80 years old, right? And she wanted to seduce Rabbi Akiva. So she tried to seduce Rabbi Akiva. The Talmud says Rabbi Akiva's response to her seduction was three things. He spat, he laughed, and he cried. So she said, "Why did you spit? Why did you laugh? And why did you cry?" He said, "I'll tell you two answers to two questions, and the third one I'm not going to tell you." Did I spat because 2 years? Said 2 years? 2 years. Oh. He said, "I spat because a person comes from a future drop. I cried because your beauty will eventually lie in the dust. And the reason why I laughed, I'm not going to tell you." Why did he laugh? Rabbi Akiva saw, the Mor Shemesh says very interesting, Mor Shemesh says that Rabbi Akiva spat in order to remove from himself the impulse of any, in a tzaddik, of course, not in the level that we're supposed to understand, but Mor Shemesh says that's why he spat, in order to revert the impulse. Anyways, but he knew, Rabbi Akiva knew with divine inspiration that eventually she was going to marry him. She was going to convert to Judaism, and she was going to marry Rabbi Akiva. And so therefore, he laughed at the amazing divine inspiration, at the amazing turn of events that Hashem is doing, that the things are of the opposite of holiness can be transformed to good and holiness. And sure enough, she eventually said to him, "Is there a way for me to rectify my mistake? Is there a way for me to come back?" And she did. So, in a similar way, we all have our own tests, and it seems like that we have, it's not. It seems like the stakes aren't so high, the tests that we have. But the truth is, the stakes have never been higher than our generation. Because our generation, the Rizal says that the last generation before the coming of Mashiach is an incarnation of the generation that left Egypt. And so therefore, the challenges that we have personally the stakes are very high because we are the ones that are going to herald in the era of Mashiach. And therefore, the challenges in this generation, in some ways, are more challenging than any other generation. And just like Rabbi Akiva, by him marrying this woman, he rectified the sin of Zimri. And that's why Zimri is numerically equivalent to 406, and Rabbi Akiva is also numerically equivalent to 406.
So he's a Gilgal of Zimri?
Yes. And more, it says that Rabbi Akiva, when he passed away, the Romans were combing his skin with iron combs, and Rabbi Akiva, it was time to say Shema. He started saying Shema, and when he said Shema, his students were wondering how could he say Shema at this time. And Rabbi Akiva said, "My whole life I'm waiting to give my life to Hashem, and now I could finally do it." Therefore, he said Shema with the full happiness. So when the Shema left him, Shema left him when he said the word Echad. He said the word Echad. It wasn't just he said the word Echad at that exact time. He wasn't trying to do a trick. I'm going to say Echad when I'll die, but his death was a perfect expression of the truth of Hashem, that even in this horrible scenario, he expressed the truth of Hashem. So anyways, a voice comes out from heaven, and the voice said, Yesh koin elam b'sha'ah achas. There's a person who can acquire the world to come in one moment, and that's the acronym for the word Akiva. Koin elam b'sha'ah achas, it stands for Akiva. And Rabbi Akiva, it says, you're muzman, he's invited to the world to come. Who was invited? He was invited not just to Rabbi Akiva, but also all the incarnations before Rabbi Akiva. Also Zimri, who also was also invited as well. But here's something unbelievable. Today was a yard site of Erech Chaim HaKadosh. Erech Chaim HaKadosh says something unbelievable. The Erech Chaim HaKadosh says, going back to...
Shabbos Aryeh.
They're not related.
Yeah, but it's also Yartzeit.
Oh, I know that. Today's your Yartzeit? I didn't know that. Wow.
Kadosh.
So,
Are you late?
I know they did. Very interesting. So Arachaim HaKadosh said that when Pinchas went to kill Zimri, the Torah says he was jealous for Hashem's honor. Being jealous for Hashem's honor means, like the Torah Talmud uses that same expression of jealousy when a husband warns his wife not to be with another man. It's not that you're angry at someone. It's that you love someone very much, and therefore you don't want them to go away from you. In a similar way, because of the love of the Pinchas had for Hashem, therefore he couldn't stand the fact that his child Zimri is going to turn away from Hashem. So his zealousness for Hashem's honor wasn't he wanted to hurt Zimri, he wanted Zimri to do tshuva. And the Arachaim HaKadosh says that Zimri did do tshuva. The Arachaim HaKadosh says that a second before Zimri died, he did do tshuva. And that's why the Torah says about Zimri, doesn't say his name at first. The Arachaim says, why doesn't it say his name at first? Then it says, and the Shem Ish Yisrael Mukha says his name afterwards. The Arachaim says because he at first didn't have a name, he didn't have a connection. But then at the moment before he passed away, so then, because he thought to do Shuvah, so then he got a name, got a connection. That's why he says Shem Ish Yisrael Mukha. The only thing that was separate, the only thing that was hurt in Zimri was just something external. But deep down he was connected to Hashem. Even at the moment of his sin, he suddenly had a thought of Tshuva because of Pinchas, who wanted him to do tshuva, who even while it seemed like doing the opposite, he went to kill him, and yet what he wanted was Zimri to do tshuva. So, as a point of all of this, if you're not dizzy from all the different incarnations, it's mind-boggling. But the point is, we all have very unique challenges, each of us, and we have to ask the question: Lamaz Avtani, why Hashem put us where Hashem put us? Why are we placed in this last generation of Gullus, in these challenges that we have, in the circumstances that we have? We have to be open to accept where Hashem has placed us and know that it's about shalom. It's about revealing Hashem's truth in the challenge that we have. And when we do overcome our challenges, it seems like a tiny little thing, but in that tiny little thing that we are successful in, it rectifies all the past, and it more importantly, much more importantly, it tips the scale and it brings the Yul, brings the Mashiach. It should help us. We should be there. We should be there. We should see Taka the Bias HaMashiach, and Chiyas HaMesim, and Bekar of Mamish with the Rav David and Rafal, L'chaim, L'chaim, L'chaim.